International Weather Forecast News, August 31st, 2025. Weather News Bulletin. Tropical storm formation expected off the coast of Africa. Good day, dear viewers. Today is Sunday, August 31st, 2025, and we are back with the latest weather update. In this news report, we will take you through the latest developments across the Caribbean, Central America, the Gulf of Mexico, and especially the Atlantic Ocean, where meteorologists are closely monitoring a tropical wave with the potential to strengthen into a tropical storm, or even a hurricane, in the coming days. Let's dive into the details. Current weather situation. At this hour, unstable weather patterns are dominating much of the Caribbean basin. Heavy rains and thunderstorms have been reported in several areas, especially around Trinidad and Tobago, northeastern Venezuela, and the southern Lesser Antilles. The situation extends further northward, with the Bahamas, Cuba, and the Cayman Islands all experiencing scattered showers, thunderstorms, and localized heavy rainfall. Meanwhile, across Texas, residents continue to deal with heavy downpours. Persistent rainfall over the past few days has saturated the ground, and weather experts warn of an increased risk of flash flooding, particularly in urban areas and near rivers. The tropical wave emerging from Africa. Satellite imagery captured overnight highlights a tropical wave that has just exited the western coast of Africa. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, this disturbance is forecast to move deeper into the Atlantic Ocean. Early indicators suggest that this wave has the potential to gradually organize, and under favorable conditions, it could strengthen into a tropical depression or even a tropical storm within the coming week. However, the models are not fully aligned. The American GFS model shows the wave consolidating into a tropical storm as it travels westward. The European ECMWF model takes a more aggressive stance, hinting at the possibility of a hurricane, though it projects the storm to remain over open waters. The Canadian model is more conservative, showing a strong wave but without significant storm development. The ICON model from Germany also leans toward tropical storm formation. The varying projections reflect uncertainties in how atmospheric conditions will evolve, particularly the influence of the subtropical high-pressure system positioned over the North Atlantic, which will likely determine whether the storm curves northward into the open ocean or continues westward toward the Caribbean. Outlook for the week ahead. If development occurs, meteorologists believe the system could become a tropical depression by Thursday of next week. At this stage, most scenarios keep it away from land, traveling primarily over the open Atlantic. Yet, longer-range forecasts diverge significantly. Some models suggest the storm may track closer to Bermuda, while others show a trajectory that could bring it near the northeastern Caribbean islands. The good news is that factors such as dry air masses and wind shear may limit the storm's ability to intensify, at least in the short term. Even so, September is typically the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season, and meteorologists caution that the basin is entering a more active phase. Sea surface temperatures, a fuel source for storms. One key concern is the abnormally high sea surface temperatures across much of the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. Current readings range between 30 and 31 degrees Celsius, 86 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit, significantly warmer than average. Such conditions provide an abundant supply of heat and moisture, effectively acting as fuel for developing storms. Should the tropical wave approach these warmer waters, it could rapidly strengthen, increasing the risk for communities along its path. Short-term regional impacts. In the coming days, the following conditions are expected across the region: Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, scattered thunderstorms with localized heavy rainfall, up to 75 millimeters in some spots. Trinidad and Tobago, around 60% chance of rain today, with periods of intense downpours. Smaller Caribbean islands such as Barbados, St. Lucia, Grenada, and St. Vincent, showers and thunderstorms. Probability ranging between 30% and 50%. Central America, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Panama, and Costa Rica, widespread rainfall, raising concerns of flash flooding and landslides in mountainous terrain, with rain probabilities from 50% to 70%. Texas, USA, continued heavy rain with totals reaching 100 to 150 millimeters, 4 to 6 inches, in some locations, posing risks of urban flooding in swollen rivers. Storm names for the 2025 Atlantic season. If the current tropical wave does indeed develop into a named storm, it will likely be called Gabrielle, as that is the next name on the Atlantic storm list for 2025. Following Gabrielle, the next names to be assigned are Humberto, Alda, Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa, and Nestor. The naming system ensures clarity in communication, particularly when multiple storms are active in the basin simultaneously. Long-term outlook, a more active September ahead. Meteorologists emphasize that the Atlantic hurricane season typically peaks between early and mid-September, and the latest outlooks suggest that this year will be no exception. Additional tropical waves are already visible over Africa, waiting to enter the Atlantic. Unlike earlier in the season, when storms often curved northward into open waters, the upcoming systems may have a greater chance of tracking westward, bringing more direct impacts to the Caribbean and potentially even the Americas. This pattern underscores the importance of preparedness. Communities across the region are urged to remain vigilant, monitor updates from official weather agencies, and review emergency plans in case a storm threat materializes. Summary and closing remarks. To recap today's weather bulletin, a tropical wave emerging from Africa shows clear signs of development and may become a tropical storm by next week. Forecast models differ, but the general consensus indicates the system will remain over open waters in the short term, with some risk to Bermuda or the northeastern Caribbean in longer-range scenarios. Sea surface temperatures are unusually warm, providing conditions that could fuel storm intensification. In the short term, many areas, from the Bahamas to Texas, will face heavy rains, thunderstorms, and flooding risks. If named, the next storm will be Gabrielle, as we move deeper into the 2025 hurricane season. As always, our weather team will continue monitoring developments and provide timely updates as new data emerges. Thank you for following today's report. Please stay safe, stay informed, and we wish you a calm and secure weekend.